Cool. All right. So how's it going, Rod?
Man, it's going good. It's going good.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, shoot, it's been a while since we've seen each other. So it's
Yeah, it's been a
uh,
minute.
yeah, man. It's been catch up. When was that? Like 17? It's been about 3 years or so since we caught up.
17, 18, 18,
18. Okay, it's been
2018.
2 years. Okay,
Yeah.
it hasn't been that long. I feel like it's
Yeah.
been. Well, good, man. Shoot, what you got going on over there is what I'm talking about right there with the breeze and the backdrop and
Oh
the
yeah. I
background.
can't be there in real life, so I just go ahead and be here virtually.
Hey, you gotta mentally go there first, right? Before you can get
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
what's
Got to
up.
see
So
it and then you can get there.
already. So
Hmm.
what I started doing was I wanted to really archive some of some of the stories of people that I've met over the years and worked with.
Okay.
And yours was specifically interesting because, once we got together, and we'll get into it, a
Hmm.
lot of things have happened. So what I like to do is just really hand it back over to you, share with me a
Okay.
little bit about who you are, what do you do on a day to day, and then get into a little bit about how we came to know each other and what happened with our trading journey together.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Roderick Stotts. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Moved to Dallas, well, actually moved to Fort Worth in 2011, and been kind of bouncing around between Fort Worth and Dallas area. I'm living right now in Glen Heights,
Okay.
and yeah, primarily I've been in a lot of different aspects of work, many different jobs. But now I'm kind of at the age where, it's time to really focus on retirement and my latter years.
Sure.
So that's kind of what led me into the journey to be an investor,
Sure.
making my money work harder for me opposed to me working hard for the money. I mean, I started where I'd have three, four, five jobs at a time to try and make ends meet and stuff like that. But as you get older, your body says, hey, you can't do what you think you can do. So
That's right.
I had to start listening to my body.
That's it.
And so working 24 hours a day or working 18 hours a day and getting 2 hours of sleep a night, that wasn't working for me anymore. So I started dealing with stocks, investing in stocks, and it was kind of more like invest and hold or buy and hold for the most part. Um, and then I kind of got into dividend stocks,
Sure.
where I can get a little more return with the dividends, capital gains, stuff like that. But it still was kind of slow.
Right.
So then I was like, well, maybe if I day trade stocks, and I jumped off into that, and then that was like, whoa, wait a minute, I
Right.
lost a lot of money doing that. It was
That
like,
was
wait,
pretty
it ain't,
serious, huh?
yeah, it's pretty serious. It's not as easy as it's made out to be. So I
Yeah.
kind of went back to buy and hold, and I have a pretty good portfolio.
Sure.
Started listening to what what's his name, Warren Buffett says, and
Okay,
don't
but
invest your money in anything that you don't know about.
yeah.
So that kind of changed my strategy as far as what type of stocks to get into.
Sure.
Then I started buying stocks and stuff that I use on a day-to-day normal basis, like
Right.
Colgate Palmolive and uh, places, Darden restaurants, because
Right.
we go to restaurants. So I, instead of going to places or patronizing places that I don't have a vested interest in, I
Exactly.
started beginning to develop my portfolio full of stuff that I used or places that I went.
Yeah.
So that has had a very good impact on me because now I have a voice in what goes on at some of these establishments.
Exactly.
And they tend to listen to you when you complain about something. I mean, me and my wife had an incident where we went to the Olive Garden
Hmm.
and it was, kind of substandard. And we made a complaint and it was just like, boom, they were on it right away because we're
Yeah.
shareholders, you
Absolutely.
know, and we have a vested interest on how well the company does.
Exactly.
So I did that. So I have portfolios that I get pretty good rates of return.
Sure.
Anywhere from 70 to 100 and some percent rate of return based on just doing and purchasing stocks and in stuff that I know about and I deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
Um, so then it kind of led me into options.
Mm.
And once I learned about options, it was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
How did I not know about this? So then I did a little options trading, and I got good at it. But
Mhm.
then you're only as good as your money can take you.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. I got it.
So that is like, oh man. So then it was like something rang in my head. My mother told me, anything you want to know about, or anything that you want, you should learn about.
Yeah.
And I ultimately looked at it and it's like, well, what do I want most of? And it's
Mm.
money. So it's like, okay, well, what do you know about money?
Yeah.
And then that was a segue into the foreign exchange.
Okay.
And I was like, money, a lot of people talk about how much money they have,
Right.
but then it's like, well, wait a minute. Say you got $1 million, but how valuable is that $1 million as it
Right.
relates to the world and currency?
Yeah.
So even though you may have a
It's a great
million
point.
dollars, how much that $1 million going to buy? I mean, because I could have a million Jamaican dollars
Yeah.
and it's worth $2 here in the United States.
Exactly. The
So you
exchange
have
rate.
to be,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to be specific as to what your dollar is purchasing or what the power of the purchase of the dollar is.
Right.
And then being able to leverage that with other currencies throughout the world. And then that kind of got me interested and piqued my interest in the foreign exchange and how you can just make money leveraging the value of currency based on where you are and what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So that led me into um, taking a look at learning the foreign exchange. Then I got with a brother got with me because he knew I had a history with doing some little network marketing.
Uh-huh.
So a brother got with me and said, "Hey, there's this company that's teaching people how to trade,
Okay.
and they're selling programs where you can get in as an agent or a multi-level marketer and also learn how to trade."
Okay.
So I was like, "Huh, that's interesting," because I just wanted to learn how
It
to do
fit.
that.
Yeah, it was a kind of a
You know,
natural fit. Yeah.
so it was like, man, that's okay. That's a pretty good fit. So I got with the company, and went through their little training program. And then it was like, well, I got it. It just whet my appetite,
Yeah.
but I wanted more.
Yeah.
So then that's when the brother introduced me to you.
Okay. Okay.
And he's like, man, I got this guy, Kevin Jefferson, man. He's on fire and da 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 da. You need to get
Awesome.
with him. And I was like, okay, well, and I had your number for a while before I had actually, reached out to you. I think I reached out to you on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm. I
but I
remember that.
had your information for a while,
Yeah.
and I hadn't really reached out. And then one day, some just said, well, why don't you reach out to the brother and see what he got going on? So
Yeah.
that's when I reached out to you, and you explained that you had the same,
Similar
checked out the
setup.
company as well,
Yeah.
and it was like, well, I can make more money just trading opposed to, going out trying to recruit people. And I was like, well, that's the same thing I feel, same way I
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
and then you gave me a little background on, what your experience is. And I'm like, well, man, I want to come and learn from you, you know. So
Awesome.
yeah, so that's when we got together and you showed me what you're offering and the courses and everything, and I was like, cool.
That's awesome.
So that's when you and I got together. But then along those routes was I got introduced to another company
Right.
that said, we're going to train you, and then after we train you, we're going to give you money to trade.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So I had an opportunity to go to that company
Hmm.
uh, where they had like a boot camp training, but you
Okay.
had to be at a certain level. Where they wanted you to be at a certain level
Hmm.
before you came to that boot camp.
Sure.
Well, the boot camp was coming up, but I didn't feel like I was at that level.
Sure.
So that's when I got with you, and you sat down with me for a week, and we just went at it with hard,
Yeah. Laid
and
it out.
that got me the confidence to
That's awesome.
know what the heck I was doing while I'm at this boot camp.
Yeah.
So that just I mean, you just got me to where I needed to be, where I was comfortable
Yeah.
sitting where I was. And when
Yeah.
I sat there and it was like, man, Kevin told me that. And I was like, yeah, that's what Kevin was
Wow.
saying. And I was like, oh man, brother
Wow.
knew what he was talking about.
That's awesome. So you never told me that part. So I didn't know that you, like you say, you were reflecting back on what we had experienced together. And I remember when, like you say, we did the private coaching. So I came to you and sat with you for a couple of days, and we did the
Hmm.
intense boot camp. And you were such a sponge. It was a lot of fun, because you were
Right.
so eager, and you had a context of it already. And
Mhm.
so I remember when you were sharing, and tell me if it's different, but you were saying I took, kind of what we gained from our training together, and then I went back to the other company that I was working with to become a fund manager,
Mhm.
and I was able to take the trades and knock out, because I think based on what you told me, there are basically there are modules, or there are like phases that you have to go through. And so
Right.
I think you were kind of paused at a particular stage that you couldn't get past
Mhm.
because they wanted
Yeah.
you to do so many profitable trades in succession or whatever it was.
Right.
And then
Right.
I think we got together, and then in short order, you went and you banged it out like
Yeah.
right after that, and
Right
kind
after
of got
that.
where you want to
Yep.
be. Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that journey. So now, okay, we visited, we trained together.
Mhm.
It's benefited you from the standpoint of being able to, I guess, make greater strides with the company that you're managing money with.
Right.
So tell me about that. So how did that parlay? So basically, it sounds to me that you're saying, hey, I learned, I got with followmytrades.com. They really gave
Mhm.
me the groundwork, or help, with the foundation of my understanding, and how to look at the markets. And I
Right.
took that knowledge to actually make a professional move. Now, 2 years later, what are you doing now with the company? Kind of tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that after I sat with you, because they had it to whereas in order to become a fund manager with them, they had certain requirements that you had to do. You had to do like so many trades. You have to make or hold 20 trades for X amount of time and make not less than 20 pips per
Gotcha.
trade.
Gotcha.
You know,
Very
and
specific, very specific
yeah.
targets. Yeah.
Exactly. So I
Mm.
was struggling with that because it seemed like everything was, reversing on me.
Yeah.
But once you sat down and you showed me, look, this is where your entry is going to be. This is where your take profit is going to be. Take a look at these time frames,
Yeah.
and these time frames are going to guide you
Yeah.
as to what the market potentially is going to be doing in the near future. So
That's it.
that gave me the foresight to say, okay, I got to look at this at a broader spectrum instead of just looking at that specific time frame.
Exactly.
That's what was sticking me. So
Mm.
you had me go out and take a wider look
Hmm.
and take a look at the higher time frames and then work my way down.
Yeah.
And after doing that, everything just kind of clicked. It was like, okay, the higher time frames is showing that it's a bullish market. So
Right.
even though I'm at this lower time frames and this bearish,
Hmm.
the overall trend is bullish.
Exactly.
So that's where I learned how to wait for those pullbacks,
Yeah.
and when that pullback comes, that's when I get my entry. And then based on that, everything just kind of fell into place. And it was like,
Lights out.
yeah. So
And
then
there we are.
I
We now
get
we got
in.
the beach in the background.
Exactly. so so with that knowledge, I was able to go to this company's boot camp and work with their top traders, and
Awesome.
then work with the owner
Mm.
of the
Oh, that's
company. And I
huge.
actually,
Wow. Not just the
yeah, so I
traders, but you actually up with the CEO and the owner of the company, which is that's
exactly.
dope.
So I
That's dope.
actually sat down with him, he and my wife, and he and I sat down together, elbow to elbow, and he uh showed me some tips as well,
Yeah.
you know, and he was, impressed with the knowledge that I had thus far.
Wow.
And he was like, and it was like I've been trading for years, and it's like, nah, it ain't really been years. My man just showed me this last week,
He's like, man, this is hot off the press, bro. You don't even know.
Exactly.
That
So
is
here
dope.
here it is. Here it is now. A couple years later, I'm with them and a fund manager with them. And every month, without fail, puts money in my account. Whatever I can make with the money he puts in my account,
Mhm.
we do a 80-20 split. I get
Oh,
80% of it, and the 20% goes back into the fund.
okay.
And that money that goes back into the fund is used to help other, people get up to where they're being profitable as
Right.
well.
Right.
So we don't
So,
use any of our own money.
okay, that's what I was
It's
about to ask you.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
it's
Go
all
ahead.
the funds money.
That's awesome.
So it's the money, that 20% that goes back in, that's to help people who's having a bad day or having
Yeah.
a bad month or not, being as profitable.
Okay.
So that keeps them from having to lose money personally. So that's
Sure.
just the fund.
That's awesome.
So it's spread out. The risk is spread out because not everybody's going to have a good day and not
Yeah.
everybody's going to have a bad day.
Right.
But we are more profitable, or we are, what do you call it? He said we are good losers because we
That's
know
it.
how to
That's
lose.
right. Lose better. That's right.
Yeah.
You're a better
So
loser.
we lose less than what we make. So
Yeah.
we can we can win only 30% of the time and
Exactly.
still make money
Exactly.
because we know how to cut our losses.
And
You
that's
know.
something that I tell people all the time.
Hmm.
One of the beautiful things about trading, if you think about it in the context of a major league baseball player, you
Yep.
know, some of the best paid players who are hitters,
Hmm.
they're not even making contact and getting on base more than 40% of the time. You know what I mean? If you're
Exactly.
getting on base
Yep.
35% of the time, they consider you a very good
You.
hitter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You are all star.
Exactly. With those numbers, because intuitively, I think it doesn't seem to add up when you say I can lose almost 70% of the time and still make money.
Yep.
And I think that's sometimes those intellectual conflicts that we create for ourselves are the reasons that people don't take action,
Right.
because they don't see it.
Right.
I love that you said that, because when you lose well, you can still win big.
Yep.
And I told people, this is the only business that I've been in the last 20 plus years of me being in finance, to
Hmm.
where it pays you more to be a follower than it does to be a leader. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You don't want to be the
Absolutely.
smartest, the guy in the room trying to
Nope.
show everybody how smart you are out in front of the,
Hmm.
out picking up pennies in front of the railroad tracks. You know what I'm saying? You want to be that
Exactly.
that bird on the elephant. Just let the elephant show you where he's going. You get on his
Hmm.
back and you ride
And you
along with
ride
him,
it.
right? So
Yep.
yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so that's neat that you basically have gone through this journey, being,
Hmm.
first of all, entrepreneurially minded, clearly, because you had to have a mindset to understand that you need to do more for yourself than just to have an occupation, and
Right.
that includes a business as well, because
Hmm.
sometimes people get into the job shaming and say, well, I mean, I don't have a job, but I own a business, and that's fine. You might
Right.
own a job though, so you got to make
Exactly.
sure that the job is actually creating like doing what you want it to do. And what we're talking
Hmm.
about, we talk about money,
Right.
but what money ultimately translates into is time freedom, you know.
Exactly.
And so when you have the
Exactly.
time freedom, you can parlay that time into other ventures, or to more
Hmm.
time with your family, or whatever it is that's important to you, and actually
Right.
build out the life that you say you want to live. That's the kind of my philosophy. So it's really cool
Hmm.
that you've taken that journey, and we got together, and I'm very grateful that I was able to be a part of your process. But then
Oh
you took
yeah.
that and you actually built something financially significant. Now you're getting checks, not only
Hmm.
getting checks trading your own money, you're getting checks trading somebody else's money. So you literally invested and created a no lose situation ultimately for yourself. That,
Right.
hey, I got somebody that trusts me enough to let me trade their money and give me the biggest part of the split. So that's the end game, that you, when you're looking at things, how things, the succession of events, you never really know where it's going to take you. But I'm grateful that you had the kind of the foresight and the focus to say, hey man, I need to give it a try. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are great where they are. They've got the natural talent. They may have gotten to a level, but sometimes you just got to take that next step. And gratefully, even the CEO of the company that you're working with, he recognized it, and now it seems like you guys are working well together. And so it's always somebody at that level where you are to help you take you to that next level, man. And I'm just grateful that I was a part of that journey, man. So are you doing anything publicly, or is there any place that people can find you online or socially, or what? Like on
Well,
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything?
right now I'm still working. We're still trying to get some stuff together. As far as building a network of more traders.
Okay.
Right now we currently have 2,000 traders,
Oh, excellent.
and we're looking to expand that
Okay.
worldwide. So right now, the company that I'm with is Apiary Fund,
Okay. Yeah.
and we are trying to expand. So we're using Pivotal Wealth
Mm,
to try and grow that. So if anybody's interested in making that move
mm.
to get with Apiary Fund, it's pretty much going to be going through uh, Pivotal Wealth. So
Okay.
I have that segue, into that,
Yeah.
where they can come in, and we have different levels at which people can join. If they just want to get their feet wet, it's like $87 a month. But if
Okay.
they really want to dive in head first, we have a development program that's $10,000.
Okay.
But after that development course, that is the amount of money that you're going to be funded. So that money is going to be given back to you
Okay.
in the form of an account, and
Oh,
it's
that's
actually going to
excellent.
be It's actually going to be a $12,000 account.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what your trading level or your management level is going to be after
Okay.
you get trained,
Okay.
and that's going to be put into your account every month,
Wow.
um, until you get promoted.
Oh wow.
Every 3 months, you're going to be evaluated, and you'll go from 12,000 up to 15 to 20,000, and I think that level maxes out at about two 250,000
Okay.
is the top tier,
Okay. Gotcha.
and that's what money you'll have under management.
Excellent.
Um, so
So,
yeah,
all right. So well, if you've got a LinkedIn or something, that's fine. Because I definitely want people to be able to connect with you. I think it's
okay.
a neat combination. If
Hmm.
a lot of people want to learn how to trade or just want somebody to trade for
Absolutely.
them, I think it's good to have the access to different people. So, tell
Hmm.
me, well, they can find you on LinkedIn. So tell it people what's your LinkedIn profile?
You know what? I don't. I don't even remember what my LinkedIn profile is.
Okay, well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
I'll type it in. I'll make sure that in the description that it has your name, and I'll make
yeah.
sure I put that link in there
Put
for
that
you.
on there for
Have
me.
everything.
Yeah,
I
I
got you
appreciate
covered.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that's great. I didn't want to hold you up too long. I just wanted to do a quick check in with you and see how
Oh
things
yeah.
are going. And it's really cool that you've had such a neat journey and that you're onward and upward. I know after we've gotten familiar with each other over the last couple of years,
Hmm.
and even though we haven't seen each other, we've communicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really neat to see all the things, and I know you've really only touched on a couple of the things, but all the
Right.
things that you
Right.
have going on with and I know we won't get into the specifics, but you're working now with a hedge fund, on some
Hmm.
other deals and some things.
Yep.
So it's just really cool, man. I think the whole premise is, you know, don't doubt yourself. Take
Right.
action. Take this stimulus money that people are giving you and invest in your own education. Take that
Yep.
money and invest in a course like followmytrades.com,
Exactly.
fmtrades.com, and
Exactly.
then go in and get with a Roderick Stotts to where he can help you get set up with a fund manager that you're not even having to risk your own money, your own
Yep.
capital, but you've learned
Yep.
the right way to trade so that you can actually make an income for yourself with
Hmm.
OPM. Other people's money is how they say you get wealthy, right? So
That's how you get wealthy.
that's right. So let's leverage OPM and leverage the resources of us collectively in a time
Yes.
when people know that it is so important for us to have something other than the main thing. You know what I mean? People talk
Right.
about multiple streams of income. People talk about all those different flowery, ideas, but
Right.
the 7 streams of incomes starts with just starting. You know what I mean? You got to take
Exactly.
action.
Got
You
to
got to
take
take
action.
action, and you got to start where you are. To your point, you started where you were. You
Hmm.
with the stocks, with the options, even with forex, you started where you were, and then you
Yep.
built on that. And I think that's important for people to know that it's not that you have all the money. It doesn't take a whole lot to get started, but
Nope.
you got to understand that you have to build on something. And so don't
Hmm.
despise the small beginnings. Really just keep your eye towards the future. So I can appreciate your journey. And
Oh
I am
yeah.
super, super looking forward to the day that you and I and the wives can get out and make that beach
Look
situation
here.
real.
You get to this beach right here.
Right, we need to make that like real ASAP, so
I know that's right. That
yeah,
that's
man.
something
So
definitely. I need some sand in my toes. I need some sun on my face. I mean, I need that bad, and
that's right. And
some
some
tropical
serious arm
drinks.
double fisting it.
Yeah,
Going
like
for it.
that.
You're going for it. That's right.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Rod, thank you for taking time out to visit with me. Thank you for sharing a little bit
Oh
about
yeah,
your journey with us and where you
man.
are now
Absolutely.
and all the great things that
Absolutely.
you got going on, man. It just, I don't think it ever gets old to me personally
Uh
to
huh.
hear my students and the people that I've trained and worked with go on and find success. And, even if they're not doing anything directly in partnership with our company outside of that, it's just to see
Hmm.
success. It really makes me smile. I know how somebody can stay in education for 30 years now. There's a satisfaction
Yes.
with helping others,
Yeah.
so
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
And I definitely appreciate it because I mean, that gave me you gave me that inspiration as to saying, okay, this can be done
yeah,
because I've done it,
there you go.
and then you put the blueprint into place, and you're like, this is what it is, this is how you can get it. And I mean, your whole program was just like, okay, where do you want to be? How do
Yeah,
you want to get there?
yeah,
So you giving me that. Now I'm giving you the roadmap
yeah,
to get you there. And all you have to do is follow this map and you're gonna get there. And
absolutely.
that's what I did.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. Well, that's a great way to wrap it up. Well, hey,
Yes,
Roger
sir.
Stotts, and this is Kevin Jefferson, founder of the Forex Fam. You can find me at fmtrades.com, FM like the radio station, trades with an S.com, you know, where we teach you to trade, we text you to
Hmm.
trades, and we can also trade for you. So with that being said, we're going to sign off. And Rod, I'll be in touch, man. I want to keep up with your progress
Yes, sir.
and chat a little bit more about what you got going on the fund management side.
All right, man. Thank
All
you
right,
so
man.
much.
All right, God bless, brother. Take care.
All right. Take care.